Hey guys, how's it going? TechSpecs here, hope you're doing well. So you may know that earlier this week, Google held their annual I/O event for developers where they showcased many new features coming to the next version of Android. Of course, as with every new major software announcement, there is a public beta that I installed on my Pixel 4a, so let's go over the top 12 things coming to Android 12. Okay, so the first thing you are immediately going to notice is that Android 12's main focus is consistency within its new material design, and the way that Google is doing this is with a new system called Material U. Although not currently enabled in the first beta that's out right now, Material U is essentially a way to apply a style across all apps, widgets, and devices tied to your Google account. So, for example, say you set a purple wallpaper. Instead of having to go around all of your apps and dig into your device's settings to make everything fit that purple aesthetic, Android 12 will do it all automatically so that your device's toggles, accents, widgets, and so forth will pretty much match instantaneously. I personally really like this idea as it allows you to do lots of heavy customization without having to do all the heavy lifting yourself. But as I said, it's currently not available in the first beta and is set to arrive for all Pixel devices later this year. Another thing that has been redesigned is the lock screen. It's much cleaner than the one previously in Android 11 and consists of a massive clock as well as the date and weather in the top left. That clock will also match the Material U color scheme of your wallpaper, and if you receive any notifications, the clock will retreat into the top left corner so that you know that there is something there waiting for your attention. On top of all that, the clock styling will remain if you have an always on display enabled, which is especially nice as the extra big font allows you to quickly view the time at a glance without any distractions. As you may have noticed as well, notifications have also got a slight revamp with much more transparency and a much more rounded design. The toggles to expand, manage and clear them are much more defined, and overall they too are a lot cleaner looking. Along with this, the toggles and the brightness slider in the quick menu dropdown are a lot larger and bolder, and they have now been laid out into a tiled grid format, meaning that you can now have 8 per page instead of 6 that was before in Android 11. This thickness further continues into the rest of the UI, such as the volume slider or the icons in the settings menu, which is great as it means that everything in Android 12 is so much easier to interact with. Again, like the Material U styling, this one isn't currently in the beta, but widgets are also set to get a major redesign as well. Much like the ones in iOS 14, the new widgets in Android 12 are cleaner and much more consistent. There are some new additions like the redesigned clock, weather and battery widgets, and these will all of course match whatever styling your wallpaper has too. Personally, I'm kinda hyped for this weather one as it looks a lot like a fried egg, but let me know down below in the comments, which one are you most excited for? Something that is slightly less visual but still equally noticeable are the new animations throughout the OS. When raising your device to wake your screen, it opens up from the bottom, whereas if you use the power button, it opens up from the side. Pulling down notifications or pulling up the app drawer have a slight bounce to it, and general scrolling is smoother. And I don't know if this is just a bug from the beta, but tapping on UI elements has this sort of sparkle effect, which is pretty cool. However, surely having all of these animations would make Android run a bit slower. Wrong. According to Google, the time needed for the CPU to execute core system services has been reduced by 22%, and the system server uses 15% less of your phone's chip. What this means is that things will load in faster, battery life will be longer, and things will just generally be a lot more optimized, which is always a welcome addition. Surprisingly, coming from Google, privacy is also a key feature of Android 12. Within the settings under privacy, there's set to be a new privacy dashboard that allows you to see where and when your device's camera, microphone and location have been accessed within the last 24 hours. I think this is especially useful as it means that you can just view in plain English what apps are trying to track you and you have complete control over them. For things like location access, Google now finally lets you grant apps a single time allowance of whatever permissions it may require, and for location access in particular, it lets you have the option of an approximate location if you don't like sharing specifics. However, one of the coolest privacy features that they announced was one that lets you fully disable the camera and the microphone. Whenever you enable the toggles in the quick menu, whatever app you're using will be tricked into thinking that they can still use both of your camera and your microphone, when in reality they can only see a black screen and hear absolutely nothing. Pretty cool if you're super paranoid about that kind of stuff. If you do want to leave them enabled though, much like iOS, Android also now has a similar tiny green dot in the top right to tell you that the camera or microphone is being used, which is also pretty handy. A slightly less noticeable privacy feature in Android 12 though is that now all of the machine learning and AI processes are going to be run in the Android Private Compute Core, or APCC for short. Essentially what it means is that every machine learning function will be split from the rest of the operating system and will not be allowed to access things like networks or the cloud. Therefore, it means that things like Now Playing, which recognizes songs that are playing around you, or Smart Replies, which recommend responses to notifications based on what you normally type, cannot send that data anywhere else, and are forced to do all their processing directly on your phone. I guess it's almost like putting everything in a box where nothing can leave and enter, but either way, it's pretty nice to know. Some other small things in Android 12 include a new built-in TV remote app if you use an Android TV. You can also use your phone to input text to your TV, which is much better than having to use one of them unintuitive keypads on a physical, actual TV remote. And the last feature is essentially the same as Car Key in iOS 14. You can now use your Android phone's NFC and ultra-wideband chips to unlock and allow other people to unlock your car. However, for now the selection of cars is pretty limited, but it's nice that going forward that this should be a more commonplace thing. So, that's 12 things that are new in Android 12. The public beta is currently out right now if you want to go and try it, but I expect that the final version of Android 12 will release sometime later this year if you have a Pixel device. As with all Android updates though, if you have another branded phone like a Samsung or a OnePlus or whatever, I wouldn't expect to see Android 12 come anytime soon, as you know the drill. Each brand has to optimize their own custom version of Android for all of their own devices. Although I personally installed the beta and it's been relatively smooth so far, I know that there are many other people on other devices that are having some major issues, so I wouldn't recommend installing it on your daily driver, even if it's kinda tempting. Anyhow, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new here, make sure to subscribe as it would really help the channel out. This is Patrikios here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.